Hello, CAP students. We're going to take a look at the Day 6, Unit 1, Review Key. This video will probably be a little lengthy, so as always, feel free to fast forward to the points that you are most interested in. All right, let's get going. For number 1, Mr. Schlager is starting a track and field club that can operate safely during pandemics. Initially, the 75 returning athletes sign up. And the word initially, I think, is pretty important here because that suggests to me that we're looking at the starting amount of athletes signing up for the program. After that, which reinforces my thought about the word initially, 15 additional Eastview students sign up every other day. Complete the table and graph to illustrate the situation, then write an equation. Okay, well, every other day means that they're leading us to count by twos. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. The word initially implies that those 75 students that sign up are the times 0 amount. And then after that, 15 students every 2 days sign up. So we've got 75 plus 15. I'm going to have plus 15 each step of the way on this table. All right, so we have 90, 105, 120, 135, 150, and 165, which is a healthy sized track team. Fantastic. Let's go ahead and make a graph of this. Sometimes I'll have my graph go out past where the table illustrates. But in this case, and knowing a little bit about track teams, 165 athletes is a lot. I don't think we need this table to go out way past 12 days. So I'm going to have days be my independent variable on the x-axis. And I'll go ahead and count by, let's see here. I've got a lot of tick marks there. So I'll count by twos. And I'll skip a line, and I might be able to skip 4 lines if I count by twos. Let's see what that looks like. So this would be 1 day, 2 days, 3 days, 4 days, 5 days, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Now I know I didn't make it all the way to 12, but I think in this case that's going to be okay. Number of students that sign up. Looks like I start at 75, but I'm going to start at 0. And I got to make it all the way to 165. So I'm going to use tens as my scale, but I'm only going to write every 20 just to save room. So there's 60, there's 80. Sometimes the scale you pick initially won't work out if we don't estimate right, and that's always fine. You can always erase and start over. But I think that's going to work out just perfect. Fantastic. So I'm going to go ahead and plot some of my points here, doing my best to estimate. So I know at times 0, we're starting out at 75. This tick mark right here represents 70, so I know I'm going to be halfway between 60 and 70 right there. Okay, and then at time 2, we're up at 90. So that would be right there on my graph. At time 4, we're at 105. And 5 is right about there, and I'm just checking to make sure that I didn't goof anything up. Because those points don't look linear. So I always want to check to make sure that what I'm doing is correct. And it looks like I put that starting value dot at the 65 spot and not the 75. So I'm glad I paused there and just checked. I was checking to make sure the points were going to be linear, because I know this pattern is a linear pattern. It goes up by 15 every 2 days. So now I can proceed. At 6, we are at 120. All right, at 8, we are at 135. And at 10, we are at 150. All right, so that looks pretty good. Go ahead and draw a line. Remember, your iPad, if you're not using a pen, has a nice feature where it'll draw a straight line for you. All right, so let's write an equation here. Well, the equation would be y equals something x plus my y-intercept, or my starting value, which I know is 75. Now, the number that I put in front of x is the slope of this line, and we need to be careful because we were counting by 2's as we worked our way up on the graph. So I know that it seems like we're going up by 15 each period of time, but we want those period of times to not be 2 days. We want them to always be one single day, 1 unit. So when we go over 1, how far up are we going? Okay, well, as we go over 1, we're only going up half of 15, because 15 was 2 days, and I want 1 day. So cut 15 in half, and you get 7.5 as the slope there. I'm going to rewrite this so it looks a little prettier, and then we're going to move on. Y equals 7.5x plus 75. All right, number 2. On the line, find the slope of the line containing those 2 points. All right, well, I have my x1 and my y1, x2, y2. So I'm going to go ahead and subtract y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1 to find my slope. Slope is also thought about as rise over run, and that is ultimately what I'm finding here. I'm taking the rise, which is the difference in the y's, and subtracting it from the difference in the x's, which is the run. And as I'm talking, I'm having trouble using the right numbers. And then negative 10 minus 2. Perfect. Minus negative 2, I should say. All right, so negative 6 minus 5 is negative 11. Negative 10 minus negative 2 is negative 8. Remember, minus minus is plus. Subtracting a negative is the same as adding. All right. So I've got 11/8 as my slope. All right. Same process here. I'll take y minus y over x minus x. And we get 11/8 again. Unbelievable. 2 different sets of points, same slope. All right. So here, I'm going to write my answers on these lines. Here we have a line. To find the slope of a line, we just choose 2 points that we feel confident are on that line, and then we consider the rise and the run. So I can see that here we're at 5 and we go down to 3. That would be a rise of negative 2. And we start at 0 and we go over to 3. That's a run of 3. So my rise over my run is dropping 2 and running 3. So we have a negative slope of 2/3. Okay, and this line looks like it has a y-intercept of 2, and then it goes up by 1 each time. Over 1, up 1, over 1, up 1, over 1, up 1. That's a slope of 1. All right. So here we are going to fill in the missing pieces, given whatever information we have. Okay, so it looks like we're given a table in this situation. The table is labeled days and puppies. So it looks like we start with 20 puppies. So Joe has 20 puppies and gives away, how many is he giving away? It looks like he's giving away 3 each day. 3 each day. So there's a situation I made up that matches what I see. All right. So here we have days, and on the left side here we have puppies. We can count by ones. And then over here on this side, I suppose we could count by twos and get away with things all right. We just need to make sure that we start at 20. So maybe I'll have to count by a bigger number, like 4, 8, 12, 16. Oh yeah, we can count by twos. So I've got 4, 8, 12, 16, and 20 would be this top row up here. So I'm going to start with 20 puppies and lose 3 each day. So then we'll have 17. And then on day 2 we have 14. On day 3 we have 11. Yep, 1 less than 12. And then we'll have 8, and then we'll have 5, and then we will have 2, and then we run out of puppies. I'm not going to put arrows on that because we can't have negative puppies. So we don't need to go below the x-axis. So there you go. An equation for this would be y equals -3 puppies per day plus the initial 20 that we're starting at. All right. For the second one, we're given a graph, and it appears that that graph has a slope of -2. We're falling 2 and we're running 1. Okay. So I can go ahead and actually write an equation for that right off the bat. Y equals -2x, and I'll say plus 1 because our y-intercept is 1. I can see that right there. All right, we'll make a table here. I'm going to put a few more dots on here just so I can get a good idea of what's happening with this table. I'll go ahead and start at -2, -1, 0, 1, 2, and 3. It looks like at -2, we're at a height of 5 on the graph. We're up 5. So that's this point right here. And then we're going down 2, down 2, down 2, down 2, down 2. Fantastic. So making up a situation that can go negative and positive is definitely a little tricky. So I'm going to think, for the sake of time, I'm going to come back to that if I can think of one. I might do it off camera here so I can think a little bit more, but I want to keep this rolling. Kelly has an Etsy page where she sells things. On the 4th week, she sold 45, it should say pieces of merchandise. On the 7th week, she sold 66. So I see 2 variables being described here. I see weeks, and I see her selling profit. And they give us a couple specific data points here on this table. We get week 4 and we get week 7. Okay, so if I go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and actually what I'd like to do here, I want to move that. Oops, I want to move this down 1 and add 0 there, because it's nice to have the y-intercept or the starting point on the graph. So we know that we sold $66 worth of things on week 7, and we sold 45 on week 4. So what is the pattern here? Well, this is kind of fun. It looks like we're going 1, 2, 3 jumps to get from 45 to 66. Well, 45 taken away from 66 is what? Well, that is 21. So I can see that we made $21 more over the course of those 3 weeks that passed by. Well, if we split that up per week, assuming the rate of change is the same from each week to each week, 21 divided by 3, it gives us 7. So I think plus 7 plus 7 plus 7 is going to get us where we need to be. Let's find out. 45 plus 7 is 52. 52 plus 7 is 59. And 59 plus 7 is 66. That is fantastic. Okay, now if I want to go backwards, I'm going to minus 7. That's the same pattern, just going the opposite way. So 45 minus 7 is 38. 38 minus 7 is 31. 31 minus 7 is 24. And then 24 minus 7 is 17. And what is nice is that this point right here is my y-intercept, because that is at 0 weeks. So let's graph this. I can go ahead, we want to start at 0 and then go all the way up to 7 or so. So let's see if I can fit that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. No, that's not big enough. So let's just go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And if I want to go higher, I can. And then we need to go all the way up to at least 66, maybe a bit more if we extend this out. And I think I'm going to extend it out. And then to keep life simple, I will count by tens here. So this would be 10, this would be 30, this would be 50, this would be 70, and this would be 90. Perfect. So at 0 weeks, I'm at 17, which is a little more than halfway to 20 from 10. At week 1, I'm at 24, which is a little less than halfway between 20 and 30. At week 2, I'm at 31, which is obviously a hair more than 30. 38 is up next. That's going to be fairly close to 40. 45 will be right in the middle of 40 and 50. 52, 59. Okay, so that's going to be right under 60. And then week 7 is 66. And now that I have all these points plotted, I can draw a line and extend that line out to see where the pattern trends. A good equation for this pattern would be y equals my slope, which I found to be $7 per week, x plus that starting amount of 17, which is my y-intercept. All right, last one here, we're given an equation. Let's go ahead and graph this equation. we have a y-intercept of -4, so I'm going to put a dot at -4, and then we have a slope of -2/5. That's my rise and my run. So I'm going to fall 2, so go down 2, and then over 5. So I'll have another point right here. Okay, I'm going to repeat that pattern, but go left with it. So that would be left 5 and up 2. All right, so there's my line. Okay, x, y. It looks like 0 and -5 and +5 give me some nice answers. Yes, so 0 and then -5 and +5. I'm going to choose to put those points on the table because I don't want to deal with fractions, and I can see that that's where my dots ended up on the graph. At 0, we were at a y value of -4. That's the y-intercept. At +5, we were all the way down to -6. Okay, and then at -5, we were up to -2. So I can kind of see the pattern unfolding here. 10 would be my next nice point. It's 5 above the last one. And I see the trend here is to go down 2. We're going down 2 every 5 points. So I'm going to go down 2 more. All right, go another 5. We're going to go down 2 again. Go back 5, and we're going to be up 2 right there. I found my x-intercept, a less frequently talked about point. For the word problem, answers will vary. All right. Just progress check here. We are on the last page. All right, so this is the cell phone problem. Just repeat it out twice is all. So we've got 2 companies, both of which have a starting monthly rate of $19.99. All right. However, the companies charge different rates for each minute of talking on the phone. One company charges 21 cents, while the other one charges 19 cents. So the fastest way to do this is probably to use mental math. However, Google Spreadsheets does offer a pretty unique, pretty cool tool for doing this if you want to go that route. You could also use a calculator and just plug everything in that way. So what I mean by this is you can use Google Spreadsheets here, type in your amount that you're starting with like that, and then I can copy and paste it there. And then what I can do here is tell Google Spreadsheets, hey, I want to go up by 19 cents. Let's just make sure that that is what we wanted. Just double check. 21 cents for the first company and 19 for the other company. So I'm going to tell it to go up by 21 cents first. So I'll say equals cell B1 plus 0.21, and then I'll hit enter and it'll add 21 cents for me. I can go ahead and drop that down. Oops, let's edit undo that. I wanted to hit autofill. There we go. So it'll go ahead and do that for me, which is pretty cool. I'm going to put some minute marks here. 2, 3, 4, 5. All right, 6, 7, perfect. And then over here, we want to go up by 19 cents. So I'm going to say equals the cell above plus 0.19. And then hit that check mark, drag it down, and hit autofill. I bumped that with my knuckle. There we go. Fantastic. All right, so now I've got all those numbers there, so I'm going to grab Notability. and I'm simply going to copy those down. 20.20, 20.41. This would definitely be a place where you can fast forward the video. All right. $20.37. All right. So in place of X, I'm going to just write a formula that models what's going on. So in this first pattern with company C, I can tell that they're charging us $19 plus an additional 21 cents per minute. Okay. And then company D charges $19. It's actually $19.99, so let me fix that. $19.99. There we go. Charges $19.99 plus an additional 19 cents per minute. So there's some formulas that can work there. Perfect. Which company offers the least expensive plan? Well, we can see that at each step of the way, company D is cheaper. It's cheaper by 2 cents. And every minute you talk, you save another 2 cents relative to the other company. So the further down we go, the further separate those costs become. So which company offers the least expensive plan? Company D is least expensive. Because they have the same monthly rate, but a less expensive minute charge. All right. All right, part C, let's say the company D charges $5 per month plus an additional 35 cents per minute. Okay, well, let's add a column here. So they're going to come in a lot cheaper right off the bat. They're going to start at 5. So I've got that in my table, and then the new pattern here is going to be to take the previous amount and add, it's 35 cents. Okay, so there we go. So it looks like company C is still doing the same thing. So to save time, I'm going to snip everything here. And I believe there's a way to copy this. Copy, yeah. And paste. All right, first time I've done that, so that's pretty slick. Okay, company D. Oh, shoot. You know what? I've noticed that I made the same mistake a lot of other folks did in class. What happened here is that we start at a completely different minute amount, so I can't just copy and paste from that last table because that last table started at 0. At this one, we're up at 60. So what I'm going to do here is, I don't have a calculator in front of me, but I do have this spreadsheet. So I'm going to go down here an autofill and get me up to 120. And then I'm going to just go here and autofill company C. Okay, perfect. So at 60, if you have a calculator, you can just type in using the formula from above right here. That's going to be the same formula that we'll use right here. All right, so we have $32.59, $34.69. And actually now I can see a pattern in my table, and since we're going up by the same amount in terms of minutes, I'll just repeat that pattern. I can see that we're going up by $2.10. So I don't even need to scroll anymore, but just out of curiosity, let's make sure 80 was 36.79. Yep, it is. So then we're going to have 38.89, 40.99, and then this one's a little goofy. It's going to be 43.09 if I'm not mistaken. Yes, that is correct. Okay, fantastic. So then I'll go ahead and cheat a little bit. But in all fairness, this is not cheating. This is using technology to help speed things up. No different than having a calculator. All right. So we've got a dog just walked into my garage. Hey, Torque. We've got 26 flat. We've got 29 and a half. So now I can see we're going up by $3.50 for every 10 minutes of talking here. And we're going up $3.50. So I can just keep repeating that pattern. We're going to be at 30. Let's see here, 33 at 80, and let's just make sure I'm right. Yep, 36.50. All right, and then we'll be at 40, and then we'll be at 43.50. Let's just make sure that the table and everything align with that. Perfect. Absolutely. So for this company, we're starting at $5 and we're adding 35 cents per minute. $5 and then 35 cents per minute. Fantastic. Making the graph for this can be a little cumbersome. Oops. We have minutes. And then we have cost on the left side. So let's look at minutes first. On our table here, we are asked to go up to 110. It looks like we have, roughly 20-some tick marks maybe. I'm kind of guessing here, but it looks like if I count by tens, I'll be okay. So 10, 20, 30, 40. 50, and I think I'm going to be more than okay if I do this. Perfect. For the dollar amounts, it looks like at 110 minutes, I'm right around $43, $44. So I just need to make sure I get up to that amount. Again, it looks like we have maybe roughly 20 some tick marks. So if I count by 2s, 3s, or 4s, I think I'll get there. Let's do 4s just to be safe. So then this would be 8. I'm going to skip lines. So 4, 8, 12, 16, 20, 24, this would be 32, this would be 40, and this would be 48. So it actually looks like I'm there and I'm halfway there. So I'm going to spread this out a little bit more. I think I can cut that in half and get away with it. So let's say this is 4, this is 8, this is 12, this is 16, 20, 24, 28, 32, 36, 40, 44, 48. It looks like we'll top out at 50, which is perfect. All right, so I'm going to actually try something here. I wonder if I can do this and change the color of it to, let's say, blue. Oh, fantastic. Okay. All right, so we will deal with Blue Company C first. Blue Company C, it looks like at 60 minutes, is at 32.59. So at 60 minutes, we're at 32.59. Okay, well, 32 is there, 34 is here, so we're going to be somewhere on the lower side of that mark right there. Okay, at 70 minutes, we're at 34.69. So at 70 minutes, we are at 34.69, so just a hair above 34, right there. At 80 minutes, we are at 36.79. So we're looking at something pretty close to 36, right around there. At 90, we're at 38.89. So we're almost at that halfway point, somewhere right there. And at 100, we're at $40, right on the dot. So that's going to be right about here. So generally speaking, it looks like I've got a pattern that's doing that. Okay. I also know from the previous example that this starts out at about 20, 1999. So it would be safe to extend this out all the way there. Fantastic. Okay. At 60 minutes, company D, the red company, is at $26. I believe that's right there. And then it goes to $29.50. Right about there, really close to 30. Then it goes to 33. 32, 33 is going to be that halfway mark right on the dot. Then it goes to 36.50. 36.50 will be somewhere on the low side right here. And then 40. And then 43.50, which will be just on the north side of that. Somewhere like that. I also know that this company starts out at $5, which will be halfway between 4 and 6. So I've got a nice runway to draw my line. And extend it out like so. Fantastic. So what do we see going on here? Well, I see that the red company D is a better deal because of their low monthly rate at first. But then somewhere around, it looks like 100 minutes, things change. And company C becomes the better deal again. So which company offers the better plan? I would say if you talk less than, I'm going to say about, because I don't know the exact value right now, but less than about 100 minutes, company D, which company was it? D is best. If you talk more, then 100 minutes, company C is best. All right, pretty sloppy writing there. I do apologize. I'm going to wrap this up. Hope this was helpful. As always, keep the questions coming